Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna explore this Kia Sportage SUV car. So this is the car we're gonna explode, and this is how it looks after final render. I put some HDR on the background, and there's nothing else except one plane in the ground to catch a shadow, and we have one HDR. I'm using corner render for this. So let's get started. So what we need to do is divide this car to movable elements. For instance, if we want this door to open when we explode the car, we need to separate this as a separate object and place the pivot so that when it moves, it looks like the door is actually opening. Okay, so if you have a car which is not divided, so you need to divide into the separate objects. For instance, I have several objects which is pivot is placed in this way, like they are the hinges holding the objects together, and when you move, it moves exactly just like in real life. So I separate the doors, I separate the back door, I separate this part of the car, and I separate the wheels, and the rest is only one object. So this is the rest of the car. Let's isolate to see it clearly. So this is the object, which is the car chassis. So let's name it correctly so that we don't forget what is it. Let's name it correctly first. Okay, so let's see. This is let's see if the wheels. Okay, wheels named correctly. Okay, so let's see how many objects we have. We have 11 objects. It's great. So what we need to do now is we need to create proxies for all objects, because we have currently like 4,000 polygons and 5,500 vertices, so it's really hard to calculate this kind of big polygon objects. So that's why we need to create small proxies for this, so that it would be really easy for Max to calculate the simulation for us. So let's start creating. So first I'm gonna start from box. Let's stop this interactive rendering. Let's go to the left view. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the box. Now let's turn off this auto key. Okay, so we're not going to create the wheels, because wheels gonna be separate objects. So let's convert it to editable poly. Let's add several segments first. Okay, let's scale it like this. Now let's adjust it. So we're gonna create a rough interpretation of our object. Something like this. Okay, let's adjust this back height, no, the bottom height. Okay, now let's adjust it from here. Let's bring it up a little bit. Now let's adjust it from the front, the top. Okay. Okay, so let's scale it inwards like this. Okay, so what else we need to do is, it's basically we creating the really low poly model of our car, and we're gonna use it for the simulation. Okay, so we need to add details here, increase the details here, so we add extra segment. Let's scale it like this. Okay. I guess our car is a little bit to the right, so let's correct this. Okay, let's bring these parts closer. Okay, good. Something like this. Okay, it's basically something like this. So now we need to create the wheels and the doors. So let's create the wheels first. So it's basically the cylinder. Let's create it. Let's get rid of these side segments and make it 16 sides. Let's make it exactly like this. We need to increase the height. Okay, now I guess we need to convert to digital poly and add extra segments here, like 2 segments, and separate them. Okay, and now let's select these side vertices and scale them down like it fits the car tire, real tire. Okay, so let's duplicate this like this. Actually, let's do like this. Let's align this to the center. Let's do the same with this. Let's duplicate this. Okay, so let's align it like this. Now let's go to the other side. Let's rotate it 180 degree and go like this and align this. Okay, now let's hide our real objects. So now what we need to do is hide the parts which we created, the original parts. So let's go to the layers and create a new layer, and the original object will go to the new layer. So let's select these wheels and we send it to newly created layer and turn it off. Now go back to original layer, default layer. So let's rename it. So we're gonna send every original object to here, and we're gonna simulate these locally proxies. Okay, now let's see what we got. We have only doors left, so let's isolate doors. Okay, now let's create. So it's a box actually. Let's go to something like this. Let's get rid of these extra segments. Let's make it 4. Okay. So let's place this correct position. Okay. So let's do it like this, do it like this. Currently we are creating the front door. After finishing, we're gonna start with back door. Okay, let's add 2 segments. Okay, so let's fix the position. Okay, something like this. Okay, so now let's create the other. Actually, we can duplicate this like this and choose mirror, and now continue creating our object, because our proxy is a little bit same with the back, with a little bit difference. So we can create it from exact same object. Okay. So let's add extra 1 segment here, and it's for creating this. Okay, let's see if we have everything right. We can make this part a little bit larger. Okay. Make like this. Let's bring it higher, upper. Okay, let's fix these parts. Okay. Good, so we have doors ready. Now we need to adjust the pivot. So let's affect pivot only, and let's align our object's pivot with original object's pivot. Okay, let's do the same with this object. Align original object's pivot. Okay, good. Okay, let's go back and isolate and select our original objects and send them to the original layer. Okay, now let's duplicate these doors. Just copy and mirror it, and let's select these ones, isolate, let's align this along these doors. Okay, let's send them to original, and the pivot is in the same place. So let's end isolate. Okay, what we left is this back part and the front part, so let's isolate them. Okay, now let's start creating. Okay, so let's create a box. Oh, I guess we stayed in the hidden layer. Let's activate the default layer. Okay, let's create the box. Let's adjust the thickness. Okay, convert to uneditable poly. Okay, let's scale it to fit. Okay, scale it like this, and add several segments, like 3 or maybe 2, like this. One more, I guess. And it's gonna be like this part. Okay, now let's move it forward. Okay. Let's create it like this. Okay. Now let's adjust it. So let's double click to this segment and bring it up. Rotate it so that it aligns with the object. Okay, something like this, yes. Okay, so let's align the pivot. Actually, this part's a little bit off. Let's bring it up. So let's adjust this. Yeah, it's basically okay, I guess, because the explosion is gonna happen so fast that nobody is gonna recognize this if it's really, for instance, touching the ground or it's a little bit off the ground, so nobody will see it because it's gonna be a lot of dust, a lot of debris, a lot of smoke. So this is actually really good. So let's align the pivot to original object. Okay, good. Now let's select the original object and send it to original layer. Okay, go back. Now we need to create, let's end, isolate. Now let's create the box for the back part. So convert to editable poly. Now let's adjust it. Okay, something like this. Okay. Let's move it to its right place. Okay. Okay. Now we need to add middle segments. So like this, let's add 3 segments here and move it back like this. Now let's fix the position of them. Okay. Now we need to bring this part here. Okay, something like this. So let's add 1 extra segment here. Okay. Something like this. Okay. Good. So let's align the pivot. Let's see if it opens like normal. Good. Let's hide the original object. Okay. Now we forget about this original layer for a while. Let's end isolate. Okay, now what we have is the proxies of original objects, and they are really low poly. So what we need to do is reset their XForm so that maybe we scale them somehow, maybe we change anything in their original parameters. So to fix them, we select all of these objects, go back to utilities, press reset XForm and press reset selected, and now convert it to editable poly. Okay, this way we can see that some objects are black because their normals are flipped. So let's select this, press flip. It's because we duplicated them and somehow it happens. So let's fix their normals. Okay,